What is up, everybody? Hope everyone's having a good night. This is Uncle Bio Fuego here with another episode of Wrestlers of Baytown, another podcast. I'm here with Charlie Boy. How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing good. Probably would have been better if I would have put my headset on first, but hey, I'm still doing okay.
It happens, man. We do it live. Also, Clifton was scheduled to be here, but he had to take care of some family business, which we understand. He should be joining us momentarily, or if not, he will join us in the next podcast. But we have a lot to talk about today. What's up?
I said rip again, but hey, it's all good. Family first. So yeah.
Hey man, it's the married life. That's what happens. I'm a part of that, so I'm well aware.
I wouldn't know. There was a time where I kind of got close, so I had a little dip in it. Like I put my toes in the water, and then yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
one day.
Anyway.
So we have a lot to talk about today. We're going to talk about the results of All Out's 2023 for All Elite Wrestling and the firing of CM Punk from this past Saturday as well. We're not going to waste any time. Actually, I did want to bring up something from yesterday's podcast.
Mm-hmm.
If you're listening to this first, listen to episode 2. You might miss a little bit of context from what I'm about to say. When Charlie Boy was talking about Payback 2023, we were talking about the tag team street fight.
Yeah.
There was a moment that we totally overlooked that happened, and it was an accidental thing that happened.
I believe it.
I don't know if you saw this. Yeah, I don't know if you saw it, but it's a quick little mention. Damian Priest pinned Sami Zayn in the ring, and Kevin Owens had a chair. He throws the chair at Damian Priest, but misses, and he ends up hitting Sami Zayn in the nuts.
I didn't see that. That's funny.
Okay, so it's a blink and you miss it kind of thing, but it was a pin attempt, and then Kevin Owens uses the chair to interrupt it, and instead of hitting Priest, it hits Sami in the nuts. I just wanted to point that out, and in case you missed it, which we did.
Yeah.
I just wanted to throw the little nugget in there.
I totally missed it. I usually do a better job, honestly, of keeping interest in watching pay-per-views and whatnot, but it's been kind of a busy weekend for me as well, as far as my other things I do on Twitch, including not so much Killer Instinct, but I had an Apex tournament on Saturday, so I kind of balanced that with watching the pay-per-view, and then All Out was on Sunday. So as far as Payback went, I kind of watched some of it after the Apex tournament I played in, and then I watched some of it the next morning. And like I said, I even during the next day, I fell asleep during the part of it, because I didn't get to sit down and spend the 4 hours that I'd like to sit down and spend watching the pay-per-view from start to finish. I probably would have caught it then, but yeah, unfortunate.
Yeah, well, not holding that against you, man. We all got lives. This actually worked out better for me today because I didn't work late. But starting tomorrow, I work a little bit later, so now's a good time to actually put all this to bed, if you know what I mean. So, with that being said, that's also a little nugget I want to throw in there. Let's talk about All Out 2023. It was in Chicago, Illinois.
Yep.
The home of the recently departed, I should say recently employed CM Punk.
Cult meat with extra cheese?
He was not at the show. Yeah.
Cult meat with
cheese.
extra cheese. Well, Jim Cornette.
Oh, dude, I love that song, and I love that he added lyrics to it.
Yeah,
they got a good giggle at me.
Yeah, he. I saw that when he first did it like last year, and then like that whole AI what CM Punk's gonna be doing after he gets fired, and it had like it had him carrying burgers
At a
and
pizza
whatnot.
place.
Yeah, at a pizza place and whatnot. It made me think of the Jim Cornette meme, but I digress.
Hey man, if he does do something like that, opens up a restaurant, I would go. I would
Oh
go.
yeah. No, I mean I would go like what was it? Forbidden Door. When he wrestled. He was supposed to wrestle. I think it was somebody he was supposed to wrestle from Japan, and he ended up wrestling another person instead. Uh,
Kenta's name was thrown around in there,
yeah, I think it was.
but I
Yeah, it
don't
was
think that was
Kenta. He
supposed
was
to be.
maybe it was Kenta. No, maybe not. I don't know. He was supposed to wrestle somebody.
Well,
He ended up wrestling somebody else, like a different Japanese legend.
Yeah.
And
He ended up wrestling, I think it was Kenta Kobashi. I think that was his name.
yeah, not the
I might be saying it wrong.
not the regular Kenta.
Not Kenta Kenta.
Yeah.
Not Hideo Kenta. We're talking about like WWE Kenta. We're talking about the NJPW Kobashi.
Yeah.
So what did you want to make a point on?
Well, yeah. When me and Cliff actually watched All Out, Forbidden Door at his place, and we had he told me to bring drinks, and I took Pepsis. So we all had Pepsi. We had cherry Pepsi, but Pepsi nonetheless during Punk's match and whatnot for Forbidden Door and stuff. So that was a cool little thing that happened. But yeah, no more of that. No more of that. No more cult of meat and extra cheese. Not in AEW anyway. But regardless, I mean, you can't talk about this show without kind of talking about what's going on with CM Punk, right? So.
Right.
So, but
I'm sorry, it was Satoshi Kojima.
Kojima, yeah. Kojima, that's the right one.
Yeah, Kojima. Yeah.
But
Kenta Kobashi's another wrestler. My apologies. I caught that one. So, that was a big thing. The crowd in there, there was some CM Punk chants in there, but I'm not gonna lie, it didn't seem like a lot compared to what I would think it was gonna be, because it was kind of like toned down.
Right.
There was you knew they were gonna be vocal about the decision, but it kind of overall went from chanting CM Punk to like, oh wait, we forgot there's a wrestling show going on, let's watch that kind of vibe. So let's go ahead and go over the first match that was shown on the pre-show.
Yep, 0 hour.
The over-budget charity battle royal. Yeah, 0 hour.
Mm-hmm.
And then the winner earns $50K to give to the charity of their choice.
Hey, by the way, guys,
so
if you guys
basically,
real quick, if you guys don't like spoilers, you might want to go watch the show first and then come back here, because that's what we do on this podcast. Basically, is go over results and spoil things. And give our thoughts. So
yeah, you know, we're already in episode 3.
You would think they would know. Yeah.
Yeah, but then again, now that I'm looking at this, these are not technically live yet. So
yeah.
After probably episode 10, we'll stop saying this. Let's go over the battle royal right quick. Tony Nese tries to rile up the wrestlers to do a push-up challenge and try to be healthy, but he was eliminated quickly. There was Aussie Open was in it. Sean Spears, Matt Menard, Hager, Garcia, Parker, Brian Cage in there. I guess there was what's it called? What's the group that he's in right now?
Who's that? Jericho?
The Mogul Embassy, right?
Oh, Brian Cage? Mogul
Embassy.
Mogul Affiliates or Mogul Embassy, yeah. Like they merged, right? Because it was like Brian Cage had his own group with Prince Nana, and it was like was called the Embassy, I think, and then
Mm-hmm.
Swerve Strickland had his
They
group,
added more wrestlers, yeah.
Mogul Affiliates, and then now they're the Mogul Embassy. I think that's how that worked.
Okay. Okay. Now I know. There was also notable Ring of Honor wrestlers in there. Dalton Castle was in it.
Okay.
There was who else?
Gates of Agony.
Best Friends were in it. Yeah, Gates of Agony. Aussie Open was in it as well. Of New Japan fame, but now Ring of Honor.
Oh, Action Andretti.
There was a lot of Kyle Fletcher, Scorpio Sky, Tua, Adam Page. The list goes on. There's a whole bunch of people in there. Serpentico, Commander was in there as well. Some high flyers. A lot of decent names in there. Mostly mid carders. And towards the end of it, Adam Hangman Page ends up taking the match and had to donate $50,000 to a charity of his choice. If you watch Being the Elite, you came to find out that he donated the $50K to some kids that can't read in Chicago.
Oh, that's cool.
So he basically, so he's doing it for the kids.
I thought you were going to go somewhere else with that, because recently they have a skit going on BTE with how Matt Jackson is making like horrible deals with like Wendy's and Chili's, and he had them all signed, and they were all going to be millionaires and billionaires because
and somehow he messes it up.
Yeah, and he messes it up. So I thought you were going to go the way of, and now that he's on Being the Elite, he blamed Matt because Matt ended up sending it to the wrong charity or something along those lines. But no, I don't think that's the case.
Okay. No, I think the joke was he says you sold the Hungbud's name for $1,000.
Yeah.
And I'm $50K short.
To Long John Silver's.
Some blank sheet.
To Long John Silver's, which actually ended up being John Silver from the Dark Order, which was hilarious.
Sometimes I miss, sometimes you forget why you watch these shows, and then you're reminded why.
Right.
You're like, you know what? That's why I watch this stuff. Alright, next match was a trios match. It was Ring of Honor's Women's World Champion Athena Diamante and Mercedes Martinez versus Hikaru Shida, Sky Blue, and Willow Nightingale.
Mm-hmm.
Sky Blue jumped off the top turnbuckle, landed on the opposition. Diamante hit a neck breaker on Sky Blue and then tagged out Mercedes. A lot of, good spots here and there. And then Shida dropped Athena with a strike. Pillow pounced Athena outside the ring. And Sky Blue pinned Diamante after hitting the code blue. And it was a quick little match. Not bad. It was fun.
Yeah, I mean, man, I missed the I didn't really get to watch the pay-per-view. I only got to see the highlight reels and whatnot. But, yeah, I didn't get to watch the pre-show at all, which is on me because pre-show is, free. So I could have watched it on YouTube, but I haven't. However, I will say, Shida's a great wrestler. Sky Blue, they've All Elite Wrestling has kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Elevated. There we go. Elevated her pretty well, I'd say, from just a jobber type wrestler to where she's kind of like a jobber still-ish, but she's well known and she's getting respect. And she's putting herself out there, and Willow Nightingale as well, right? Because both of them kind of started, and these were supposed to be kind of one-off wrestlers, right? They lost the match, they did their job, they're done. But both of them are still here, and Willow actually ended up winning the New Japan Strong Women's Championship. Because, of course, Mercedes Moné got injured and all that good stuff, and that's how she ended up with it. However, she ended up with it, which is the point.
Yeah, I remember when Tony Khan got pressured into hiring Willow Nightingale because she got herself over on her own. People loved her style, they loved her enthusiasm, and it made everybody react to her. And Tony Khan basically said, "All right, we're gonna hire her."
Bro, can you ever turn her heel? Is there a way? Is there a world that exists where she turns heel? I mean, she's so she's so cheery and chipper all the time, and like.
Well, remember, there used to be a wrestler like that too. That used to give out hugs.
Yeah, Bailey.
And then she
right.
pulled out, and then she pulled out a sword and slashed the inflatable tube man.
Yeah, that was sad.
Yeah.
I'm sad now. I'm sad.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I brought back bad memories.
Man.
But yeah, she could turn heel one day, and when it happens, we're not going to see it. We're not going to see it happen. And when it happens, we'll be like, "Oh my god!"
It's gonna be so sad, though. She's so chipper.
She's so happy.
She just puts a smile on your face, man. You see her, and you're like, okay.
Yeah.
The mood that she brings is just like awesome. But regardless, you got those three versus Mercedes Martinez, Diamante, and Athena. Is Mercedes still the Ring of Honor women's? No, is she women's champion? Right?
No.
What belt did she have?
But then she has the. I don't think Athena has the Ring of Honor women's title.
Okay.
At the moment,
Mercedes
Martinez doesn't have any titles.
She had
that title.
Was it the same belt? That's the same belt. They just passed it over. Okay.
Yes.
I was thinking for some reason I was thinking like there was a women's TV champion or something. And maybe that was the one that Athena had, or maybe there was two types of women's titles in Ring of Honor. Because I know Athena has one.
Nope.
And I know Mercedes Martinez had one.
Well, she had that one.
Okay. So now they're teaming together, which is interesting. I guess they got over that beef, and so that's cool. Like you said, and like I said, I didn't watch the match, but from what you say, it sounded like a pretty good showing, and yeah, cool stuff,
All right. Well, if you didn't see this one, next match is going to be for the AEW World Trios Championship.
Yeah.
On the pre-show.
Mm-hmm.
So you have the Acclaimed versus Jay Lethal, Jeff Jarrett, and Satnam Singh.
Okay.
So basically, Team Acclaimed versus Team TNA.
Okay.
And the first thing that they did was they actually started to do. They had their match. The first thing that they did notably was that Billy Gunn had his own referee and called out Aubrey Edwards, basically showing favoritism.
Okay.
But my thing is that I don't know if this is still a thing because of the House of Black had this rule set. Can you still do like the house rules? Like can you still set up your own rule? Do you know that?
I mean,
you still can do that, or is it just them?
I guess. It's wrestling, right? Like so people make their own rules all the time, right? Like. But yeah. So, but that's usually it's supposedly like signed off or whatever, or announced the day before, or like the house rules match, right? Or what other stipulations? Like, for instance, what was it? Rampage or Collision, where Ricky Starks, which we'll get to the main event later. Strap match, right, between Ricky Starks and the Dragon, but to set that match up, they called it the Dragon, right, and it was Ricky the Dragon Steamboat in the ring to set that match up. But the point is, like, they set matches up like that, right? Like, so they kind of call their shots before the match happens, whether it be the wrestlers or like maybe old school WWE, the corporation would come out or the authority or whatever you want to call them, come out and set up a match, which still happens in WWE, but that didn't happen in AEW as much. Every once in a while, it'd be like Tony Schiavone will set one up and say, "Well, I've just got word from Tony Khan when they're gonna do a house rules match or what, So
Yeah. Well, I was just this is a thought because I didn't know if they still did that. I don't know if that stuck with House of Black, but good to know. So they had their match. Who hits him? Dennis Rodman was involved somehow. Because against Chicago.
So I just watched a clip, and it looks like right. They had to replace CM Punk with somebody, right? Or at least a notable Chicago star, right? And Dennis Rodman's one of the most notable Chicago stars, along with the other four Bulls that won the championships those 6 times or however many it was. But Rodman's the ones that's involved with wrestling. Historically.
Right.
And I just watched a clip where I don't know exactly how he got involved in the match, but he definitely took Jeff Jarrett's guitar, smashed it over the head of Big Boy. Satnam Singh, yeah. So
and then Bowens hit the mic drop on Lethal and pinned him and got the win. So they're still champions. That would have been fun if they lost the titles that week.
There is no way that they're going to spend that much money on scissor championships that are pink.
You never know, dude.
Bro, you
never know.
Each one of those championships had to cost like $500+, right, to make, I would think.
At least five to 600, yeah.
Or more, like I don't know how much those belts are going for, and if they're using real gold and real cubic zirconium or actual diamonds or whatever, or fake diamonds.
Real scissors.
Oh, bro, you can't.
You can't
do that. Oh man,
that would be
That would.
I feel like that's the only time you could put scissors on a title.
Bro, you would decapitate. Like somebody would get impaled using those belts.
I think that's the point.
Oh man.
Okay, so from then on, the 0 hour had finished, and the official pay-per-view starts, and it starts off with a doozy. We have the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship match between the Dark Order's Alex Reynolds and John Silver with Evil Uno versus Adam Cole and the AEW World Champion MJF, as also known as the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions, also known as Better Than You, Baby. And so the crowd was hot. Of course, MJF and Adam Cole love to have fun, and we started to see more of which I did not see coming, a darker side to the Dark Order. Who knew? Who knew that would become a thing?
I mean, when they I was gonna say when they first joined AEW, none of these Dark Order guys had names or faces, right? It was just Evil Uno, and maybe what was John Silver always without a mask? I don't see. That's the thing. I couldn't even tell you who was in the Dark Order.
Oh, you know what?
Because it was just like,
you know what? That's a good.
Everybody was like they reminded me of putties from Power Rangers, maskless, faceless nobodies.
They were recruited, so it wasn't like they were there day one. They were recruited, if I remember correctly. They were the first recruits there. Because I remember that was a running gag that they had at BTE from the beginning, because they were trying to recruit wrestlers left and right, and that's when we found out that how funny that they could actually be. But I think it was Alex Reynolds that actually had the mask.
Okay.
In that group while he was there.
Like,
of course he's not there. He's on Impact. What are you saying? I'm sorry.
Like, I just remember, like, whenever I first heard of Dark Order, it was such a different faction than it is now. It's like, because there was it was so many people. But they were all maskless, or they were all wearing masks and they were all nameless. Like, you didn't know who was number one. They were all numbers. But like you didn't know who John Silver, Alex Reynolds, or Alan Angels, or I mean whoever. You didn't know who these people were. Preston Vance. They were all like all wore like straight up black, and then they had the same mask. And then eventually the numbers dwindled to where all the like I could have sworn like it felt like when watching them there was like 50 of them around the ring, even though there probably wasn't. I don't know, but
it did feel like a group that was like it felt bigger than it was.
Yeah,
like number wise, because they made it seem like a big cult.
Yeah, now it's only 3 people, and it's like, man, I want to see. Even if these people don't have masks or names or whatever, I want to see like more Dark Order people like accompanying these guys to make the group look bigger. Even if you're only going to have 2 to 3 stars out of it that you pay, right? I mean, get some of your extras to put on Dark Order masks and stuff, and you know what I mean, like something. But
yeah, like and that's true because I remember in matches back then. They would come out whenever, let's say, I'm going to give an example. When Anna Jay would come out for a match, the whole group of Dark Order would come out and basically give their salute, which made it feel like they were a tight-knit group. So I do get where you're coming from. Like, they need to start doing things like that again. As of right now, it kind of seems to me that they're trying to reclaim that the sinister feeling that they used to have before because they lost it big time. They lost it a long time ago. Especially when they do like funny skits or they're doing like those Twitch channel games that they do. It kind of loses the. I'm gonna use this word because you used it yesterday. The mystique that they carry.
Right.
And they need to rebuild that again.
Yeah, I mean, So I mean, you mentioned in this match Adam Cole, MJF versus Dark Order, or at least Silver and Reynolds with Evil Uno on the side. That's cool and all, but I mean, they need I just like to see Dark Order have more of a power punch like they did in the beginning when nobody knew who they were. It was just like, okay, you got this Evil Uno guy. He's talking about an Exalted One coming, and there's like 10 to 20 people around the ring without names or faces. They don't need names or faces. The whole mystique behind the group could be, okay, well, you know these 3 because they're better, they're head members, better, quote unquote. They're like their head members, they're their head stars or whatever. But like you still need to bring in like all your extras to like be around the ring, so like you make the group look bigger again or something, you know, because like now it's looking kind of pathetic, and you putting these 2 dudes up against Better Than You Baby, I could just go ahead and tell you without even watching the pay-per-view, they won. You know, Adam Cole and MJF won that. I don't even have to look.
Well, to tell you the truth, they lost. Alex Reynolds and Jeff Silver are Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions now.
And you're lying through your teeth, but that's okay. But that's okay. I appreciate the swerve attempt.
Yeah, I wanted you to like. No way. I wanted to hear the keys clicking on your keyboard. But no, like so yeah. Let's talk about the match right quick. Make it then we go to the next one.
Sure.
During the match, like I said, Dark Order was doing more heelish tactics. They actually end up re-aggravating MJF's injured neck. Alex Reynolds hit him with a chair in the back of the neck, which had to be taken to the back, and then it was 2-on-1, and Adam Cole was fighting valiantly until MJF came back. Came back to finish up the match. You know, they got the double clothesline, they got the win, everyone's happy. MJF is trying to get his bearings back, to get back to the back. But then all of a sudden, the next match is about to start, and Samoa Joe comes out.
Well, real quick, and, before we get to that, I was gonna say we gotta touch on if of course they hit their special moves, the double clothesline and the kangaroo kick.
They did.
When are they
He
gonna
did.
retire the kangaroo kick? That was just like to go up against Aussie Open, but it kind of got over, right?
Dude, people are stoked to see MJF act like a kangaroo.
Yeah, but I mean, how long is it gonna last? It can't
People are,
last his entire career. It's not gonna just follow him. You think?
bro,
Is it?
like, I don't know. He might come up with the move for Samoa Joe.
Right.
He
Yeah.
might hit him with it.
Joe just walks off like he
So,
does.
that'd be funny. He no sells it.
brushes off his shoulder.
Yeah.
No sale. Yeah. But speaking of Joe, you wanted
Yeah,
to get
that'd
to
be
that
funny.
spot. I did see this where they're walking up the ramp, right, and Joe's coming out.
Yes. Yeah, Joe's coming out, and of course MJF's walking up. They're technically walking towards each other, but MJF is out of his way. And Joe shoves MJF, who was still making his way back after the match, pushes him to the side, and Adam Cole sees it. And MJF has this look on his face of like, how dare you do that to me? And people thought, okay, he got pushed. He got pushed away. He's gonna go to the back, and then people will be like, okay, this is gonna happen until probably later. That's not what happened. MJF sprinted back into the ring and started to brawl with Samoa Joe, and then it got scary again because Joe put a guillotine choke on him while his neck is still agitated.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, the security got in to break it up, and no further damage was done to MJF. But that would have been insane if Joe managed to injure him in that manner, and if I would have been worried about him if he passed out in the ring after that. You know, like how they could have worked something like that, like into that angle.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that he put the guillotine on him, that was already scary enough for a lot of people. It was like, no, he's hurt. You know, he's gonna kill him or cripple him.
Well, you gotta.
And,
So this whole segment, I know we've went over most of it at this point, but you have to mention that this is kind of a call out, right? Because before MJF was MJF, he was an extra in NXT for WWE, or well, he was an extra for WWE. Period, I guess, just for a little while. And there was a segment where Joe kind of does the Goldberg walk down the hallway, and of course, Joe, and this I've heard MJF talk about this spot in interviews where this was planned, where MJF tries to kind of overtake Joe as a security guard and walk in front of him, and Joe kind of shoves him back. And I think maybe I don't know if Max kind of forgot that maybe he needed to be closer for Joe to kind of shoulder check him a little better or something, because Joe had to reach for him and shove him this time. But that just kind of goes to like that just prefaces why MJF had a problem with this and went back to the ring instead of just, you know, moving forward and just going along and going to the back and okay, I've done defended my championship for the night, you know. So this kind of like
long-term storytelling, my friend.
Yeah, this kind
That
of
took 6 years.
this kind of set up
6 years.
built up to this, and now we're gonna get to see that, or it feels like that's what's about to come, is a feud between those two. So that's gonna be exciting to watch.
Yes, it is. All right, so we're gonna go back into the ring with Samoa Joe because, of course, he didn't have his match. He picked a fight with MJF, and the brawl broke out. And you forget. Oh crap! You forgot he's supposed to fight somebody. He's fighting Shane Taylor. Shane Taylor is a big mainstay name at Ring of Honor. From what I've heard about him, he basically was their TV champion during the dark times of Ring of Honor. Whenever there was like a big transition of whenever their big stars was leaving to go to WWE or Impact or other promotions, and they had to like start from scratch again. They used Shane Taylor to build that up, to build up the division once more. And I have to say, this match was better than what I expected. I've never seen Shane Taylor wrestle before, but he stood toe to toe with Samoa Joe. Where he did some impressive moves. He did like the he dropped Joe with some stiff shots. He started chopping away at him. He hit hard, like he hit stiff. And but Joe, being the way that he is, athletic for his size, jumping leg kick or the tope suicida, he was basically doing all the classics and basically chopping down Shane Taylor to the point to where when he put him in the chokehold, Shane Taylor tapped out, and Joe ended up taking the match.
Yeah. Samoa Joe, classically, coquina clutch is his submission move, right, to finish off
Yes.
most of his opponents when he does end up submitting, and sounds like that's what he did. I think I want to kind of mention this line that I'm reading from Bleacher Report. It says, "This was the definition of big, meaty men slapping meat." I just thought that was funny.
Was it that one?
That's what it says.
Sure, it was that one because there might be another match that might take that title.
The ROH TV title?
That happens on the same card. No, not that title, but the title of the words that you just said.
Oh, okay.
Slapping meat.
That's according to Bleacher Report. That's what that's the final words of their little paragraph here. It says, after a great fight, Joe was able to secure the win by submission to retain his title. Match wasn't too long, but it was just long enough to accomplish what they wanted to do. This match was the definition of big, meaty men slapping meat. Winner Samoa Joe, grade B+. I thought
Nice.
I thought the verbiage was funny. Is why I read it. But
Well, it is.
But yeah, I know where you're going with that because it wouldn't be the next match, it would be the following match. There are two other big meaty men slapping meat against each other. But I want to kind of not say this term anymore because now that I'm saying it over and over again, it kind of makes me not like saying it. So let's move on to Luchasaurus versus Darby Allin.
Before you go any further, I think you said a lot of words in repeat today. So I think I'm going to name this podcast The Mystique of Slapping Meat, Episode 3.
Oh, man.
I think it was going to be the title of this podcast.
Okay.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Gross. Yeah. No, we wouldn't want Bleacher Report to come after us or nothing. But nevertheless, yeah, so Luchasaurus versus Darby Allin for the TNT title. I saw some post-media stuff with Christian Cage after this match, which was kind of funny. Anything of note? Well, not necessarily. Somebody did mention our pal Ledge, but
I love that name.
They tried to get something out of Christian, and Christian said, "I don't have any friends. The only friends I have is Luchasaurus and the TNT title." So that was kind of.
That's the only people he would ever talk about.
That's kind of noteworthy.
Yeah.
I also saw
he only talks about.
Mm-hmm. I'm listening. Sorry.
He said he only talks about himself. Yeah, he only talks about himself and Luchasaurus.
Yeah, and then I saw this meme video today with Christian about how he's talking about all these wrestlers with dead parents, which it's not funny, but it's kind of funny, I guess. I mean, it's not funny that they're. It's not funny that it's true.
Funny that they're gone.
But
yeah, it's funny in the context to where that's all he talks about. He goes, "Oh, so I heard you got a dad, or had a dad." I'm like, dude, chill.
Bro,
that's all he talks about. He's dead dads.
He is digging for heat. Like, what better way than to piss somebody off by talking about the dead and disrespecting them. Like, I guess, but I don't like it.
Yeah, like imagine now, like he's talking about the dads now. I think he's gonna save the mama for somebody that he really wants to get under their skin. You know what I mean?
Oh, he's definitely. I
So,
know he mentioned Jungle Boy's mom, and he's mentioned Nick Wayne's mom, talking about how he could be their new dad, which
yeah,
is
in front of his kids.
that's kind of disrespectful. But I guess that's what you do as a heel. I don't know. Keeping kayfabe alive.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I guess. I guess like I'm gonna make a note later. Talk about dead parents. Okay. Whenever I become a wrestler. All right.
Yeah. No. Please
All right.
don't.
Okay. So anyway.
Oscar's gonna be
All right,
the
so
Willow.
going back.
Oscar's gonna be the Willow Nightingale of the men's division. He's gonna come out there all smiles and dance, hugs and dancing. Man, I'm a
That's
love
how I'm
it.
gonna turn heel. That's how I'm
man.
gonna turn heel. I'm gonna talk about their dead dads.
Man.
And be like, dude.
But
I painted this image in my head of me as Willow Nightingale. I'm like, ugh. Now it's gonna be fan art somewhere.
oh man.
Anyway,
But getting to the
Going back
match,
to the
yeah, Luchasaurus, the actual TNT champion versus Darby Allin. What do we have to say about this
Christian
one?
Cage is in the corner of Luchasaurus. Well, very very physical, very intense. Blood was shown. Darby Allin still feeling the effects of All In whenever he basically coffin drops a actual coffin, and it showed here because he was hurting. He was hurting real bad.
Yeah.
Basically, Luchasaurus was basically using him as a ragdoll. Basically, he would whip Darby Allin into the steel rails. He swung him into the steps, which busted him open. And basically, Christian would tell him to hurt him, and he would give him all these orders. It got to a point to where there was a scary spot, which I think to me is a scary spot because you can get cut up real bad from this. Luchasaurus set the ring steps on top of Darby Allin, right? Which they're already heavy enough as it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then Luchasaurus decides to walk on said ring steps while on top of Darby Allin.
Oh man.
And that was an intent to me. It was like that was kind of cringy looking because like that if he stepped wrong in the wrong direction, that can cut the skin pretty deep. But luckily he made it to the ring, got off of him. He wasn't on him for too long. But it was basically Darby Allin was becoming a human pinata at that point. He was just getting beat up. Luchasaurus, he would headbutt him to the chin. Darby would try to, get his bearings back, but then Luchasaurus would chop him back down. And Jim Ross even mentioned it was starting to get uncomfortable because, it was getting ugly. And then there was a point where Darby Allin would get the upper hand, and he would try to finish off Luchasaurus for the win. But as he's trying to get on the top rope and do the coffin drop, Christian attacks Nick Wayne, and he sets him up for a concerto. And basically telling him, if you jump on Luchasaurus, I'm gonna take out Nick Wayne. Basically, just taking him out of the equation. Which that hesitation allowed Luchasaurus to get back up there. And what did he do to him? He basically tombstones him repeatedly.
Yeah.
Which I really had never seen before. Not even Undertaker's done anything like that. He tombstoned him like 2 times, and then he would lariat to the back of the head, and that was enough to get the win. Which you think, okay, the match is over, they're not gonna mess with him no more. But no, Christian gets in the ring and starts to attack Darby Allin, and he was gonna basically concerto Darby Allin, which he would try to take him out for good. Luckily, the locker room comes out to stop what was happening. it got really uncomfortable. It was
So
one of those like will he do it or not kind of things.
so concertos in the past have famously kind of been a way for people to write people off TV, right? Um,
Right.
do you think that's what they're doing with Nick Wayne? Maybe he only had like a couple match contract, and now he's got to go back to school soon, or maybe he's already back in school at this point, or something, and he can't make some of these dates anymore. So that's what they're doing to bring him back later on.
Well, the thing is, they never concertoed anybody. So
Oh, okay.
neither Nick Wayne nor Darby Allin were concertoed. Um, that would have like I said, Christian threatened to concerto Nick Wayne while Darby Allin was on the turnbuckle.
Okay.
While like basically give him like if you jump on Luchasaurus, I'm gonna just basically bash his brains in.
Right.
But it was also teased that Christian was gonna do that to Darby Allin. Which, if they would have done that, that would have been a good spot to write him off and go home and rest. Get his health back up together. But also you bring up a good point. If they would have done that to Nick Wayne, maybe he does have school he needs to go to. Maybe he does need to get his personal life in order again. He was just a few match deals. But that wasn't the case. If I'm not mistaken, Nick Wayne does have a contract.
Yeah, he is a contracted wrestler, so the youngest one signed. I think what is he, 16, 18?
I think he's 19 actually.
Oh, is he 19 now? Okay.
He's 18. He's 18.
Yeah, I want to say he was definitely the youngest one signed. I remember hearing about that. It's funny because
Let me see.
Bleacher Report did say
Keep talking.
Going back to our talk about Christian and the dead people thing. It says Bleacher Report did touch on it. And it says Christian being obsessed with mocking dead people, or mocking people who have dead fathers, is such a weird and specific gimmick. But it seems to be working for him, and it's like that's kind of what I was saying, except for it's disrespectful, not weird. But it is what it is, I guess.
I'm waiting for him to make a shirt. I'm waiting for him to make a shirt that says something about their dead dads. But I want to know how he would put it together. Like, what would be his spin to it? What do you think he would say on his shirt?
Man, I don't know. I mean, his current, it was outwork everyone. It was his first slogan, and then it was I worked everyone because he turned heel.
Dude, I didn't realize. So that text that comes.
Mm-hmm. Think we lost you for a second.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, sorry about that.
Nope.
Like I was saying, like what I would like to see, the text that they use that says "outworked everyone" or "worked everyone." I want to see the dead dad just pop up on his name whenever it says his name on the Titantron.
Yeah, I mean.
So imagine the songs. So imagine like the song's kicking on, you see the countdown, like, and then it goes down to 0, and then all of a sudden it says it's Christian's cage. It says "dead dad" or something, something that would be like, what the fuck?
I don't know what the punchline would be for that. I mean, or how you even make a punchline, like go from dead dad to deadbeat dad, maybe for maybe some people that have fathers that are still alive, I guess, but it might as well be dead because he's a deadbeat or something like that. I don't know. And then maybe you gotta work it into to where Christian ends up being number one dad or something like that, So I don't know, but other than that, it like they said, we said, it's kind of a weird gimmick, but yeah, good match. So it seems overall, and yeah, I mean, anything else to say about it before we move on to the next one?
Yeah, there was no Sting, which I was surprised.
No Sting. Okay. Yeah, I mean, he is getting a little bit older.
Yeah, well, you'd think you'd be there to kind of like slow the the beating down a little bit, or kind of like keep it in check. But no, he wasn't there. I think he was taking time off from Wembley
Yeah, I was gonna say
because I think he got jacked up in that match too.
I imagine, yeah. He was just out of country. It takes him a little bit longer to recover because he is in his 60s, like mid 60s, still trying to jump through tables and whatnot.
Oh, speaking of that, Swerve wasn't even there, huh? He wasn't even there at all.
No, not that I recall. No.
Yeah, you think Swerve is still recovering from his double table spot where Sting couldn't break through it the first time?
Yeah, maybe both of them are kind of banged up a bit. That's a very big possibility. I mean, nothing officially reported or anything, or that I saw. But then again, I mean,
Yeah.
how could you see almost anything else in wrestling news this week other than the absence of the Second City Saint? You know,
The Chicago elephant in the room.
yeah, all
we're
all
gonna we're gonna talk about that.
yeah.
We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna gush. But anyway, we're losing track. All right. So next match is the Redeemer Miro versus Powerhouse Hobbs. This is a nice build. They've been teasing a lot of like altercations. They finally got to throw hands at each other every once in a while during the week. Last time was they were at, if I'm not mistaken, at All In for the contract signing, which broke out into a mini brawl. Everyone starts cheering for these men because they're not about to see two big men go at it, and it got to the point to where the fans started chanting, "Slap that meat, slap that meat, slap that meat." And to me, I'm trying to figure out. I don't know what I missed. I don't know if any one of those people said anything about slapping that meat, but I think that's gonna be a shirt somewhere.
Um. Well, in the notable moments section of Bleacher Report, it says the crowd chanting about meat over and over again was awesome. It doesn't necessarily say anything about why they were chanting that, but
Well,
yeah.
even Excalibur even said two big meaty men slapping meat, and this match has lived up to those expectations. So I believe Excalibur kind of like planted the seeds for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Meat forever.
There
Do,
was a lot
do,
of
do,
good,
do, do.
yes, there was a lot of good moments in the match. A lot of good exchanges. Miro knocked down him a few times with some lariats. The Miro suplex Haas. Powerhouse Hobbs then dodged a kick. Power slam Miro. A lot of 2 counts, some thrust kicks. Miro tries to finish him off with the accolade. Tries to step on his back, pull him back. Hobbs somehow manages to get up and Kate Miro with the spine buster,
Yeah, camel
which got one of the
clutch.
closest near falls. The camel clutch.
Or game
He
over.
caught him with yeah, game over. Yeah, I forgot the name. He got him with Hobbs in with the spine buster, and I think he had one of the closest falls to the 3 count that I seen that night. Honestly, he was super close. And then then they do more exchanges. Miro manages to get the upper hand again, gets him again in the game over, and make Powerhouse Hobbs tap out, which gave Miro the win. There was a brief moment of like they might have shown mutual respect for one another because of what they did. Uh, Hobbs takes out his hand to give a shake. Miro looks at him, thinking like maybe I can trust this guy. Turns out he can't because Hobbs just blasts him from the back and starts attacking him, and he starts to choke Miro, like literally like 2 hands over the throat, pressing down, and starts to choke the crap out of him. And then all of a sudden, you see on the far side of your screen on the Titantron, hot and flexible, and I was like, I don't know who that is.
Sounds like
And it turns out it was C.J. Perry. Um, which if you don't know where she's from, she came from WWE. She was also known as Lana. And if you really don't know, she is the wife of Miro, real life wife. So she goes out, takes off her shoes, runs down the ring, grabs a chair, and decks Powerhouse Hobbs from the back. Powerhouse Hobbs gets up, smiles at her, like grabs a chair, or tries to get physical with her, and then from behind, Miro grabs a chair and blasts him with it, taking him out of the ring. And you would think they'd be like, "Oh, it was a nice little reunion. They're gonna be, back together again." And Miro just looked shocked, and he walked out of the ring. And when he got towards the end of the ramp, he was saying he was mumbling something about "you're not real." Like he's not that he doesn't think that she's real right now. So I don't know what they're planning to do, but it will be interesting to see in the future.
Well,
But the match overall was really good.
from what I understand, it was like so CJ Perry, Lana, hot and flexible, right?
Right.
Um,
Right.
so I was gonna say, sounds like Carl Anderson talking about his Japanese wife, but
Yeah.
my hot Japanese wife. But no. So regardless, anyway, wanted to make that comment, but also wanted to say this is kind of like Miro kind of walking out on CJ Perry. It's kind of like a continuation of their storyline from WWE when she was last on camera, or at least from some of the scenes, some of the comparisons I've seen made online so far. And the reason was, I believe the last time she was on camera was actually in a storyline where she was kind of like getting involved with all Enzo, right? Was that it?
No, with Bobby Lashley.
Bobby Lashley, yeah. Okay, so Bobby Lashley actually come up after Enzo. That's right, and she was getting involved with all Bobby Lashley, and yeah. So that's, I guess. And then like Oscar said, whenever Miro was at the top of the ramp, he was kind of like I think maybe Excalibur said something on the mics towards or maybe like Miro said something towards like not is it real, but more like on the lines of I've been redeemed since you, or something like that, right? Was it like that? Maybe I thought
Something like that.
wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
Good possibility.
Like maybe
There's a good possibility that we might have missed that, but like that's from what I caught.
mhm. Yeah.
And like there's a good chance that might have been said too while that was happening.
Yeah. Yeah, like I don't know if Excalibur said it whenever Rusev said something like maybe Rusev said something along the lines of "I can't believe this," and then and Excalibur was saying like he's been redeemed from her or something like that, and so yeah, it's gonna be interesting in the coming weeks to see how they set up the storyline, because obviously
up until now he's like up until now he's been portrayed as like this person that's trying to make himself better, like trying to fall like he's in a mission from God, and then he's now like abandoned that God, and he's like I need to find purpose, and then it's technically his past just comes up and out of nowhere, and now he's trying to figure out what he's doing. I don't know what they're trying to do with him.
I mean, I don't want
but they need to figure out something for him.
Yeah, I don't want to go into like to the nitty gritty details of how I feel about some of the current day wrestling and bringing in like God versus like Satan type bullshit that they do. Excuse my language, but it's ridiculous sometimes. Like I don't like the super dark other realm kind of stuff being brought into my wrestling. You know what I mean? Like I understand like to an extent of suspending reality, but when it comes down to like the like worshiping type stuff, I'm not like a fan of that type stuff. So yeah, as far as like his gimmick goes, I'm not nuts about it, honestly. But I am interested to see how he turns out with Lana or CJ on his side now, and how they work with that. And I mean, he could drop all this God gimmick stuff, and that would be great. And I'd be a lot happier of a fan. But that's just me personally, I guess, because I don't care for the sacrilege. Let's put it that way. But
Okay, that's fair.
but
Fair point.
so so yeah, like I said, moving forward, I'm interested to see how they work CJ into Russo's character or Miro's character to kind of make them be back together. Because obviously she's got to be. It was either a one-off appearance for a pay-per-view or she's signed now. Like, why would you bring her out for a one-off appearance with the Titantron if it's just going to be
Yeah.
she's here, he leaves her, and then she doesn't come back? That doesn't make sense. So,
Well, I don't know. I don't know. Like it might have been a placeover for Sunny Kiss at the time because that's what I think she was. Like that's what she was. I thought Sunny Kiss came back. I was like, oh, she was just fired. But
yeah.
that's what she called herself too. But never mind. I was wrong.
Did Sunny Kiss like fully transition or whatever, and now he's a she or what?
No, I think he's still a dude acting like a girl.
Because he definitely wrestled the men, and he knew he was a man, and like whenever he was talking, he was like just really feminine and gay, obviously, but
right.
But like, you know, he was talking as a man, but I mean, over time, over the last 3 years, he's become more and more feminine. And they've asked him about why wouldn't he wrestle women or in the women's division, and he didn't give like a straight answer, and it kind of seems like he's trying to transition into a woman and all that kind of stuff, and you know, whatever, fine by live and let live, but yeah, I mean that's not the reason he got fired. He got fired because like it's just hard to assume a gender, I guess. So we just call him.
I don't think he was even fired. I think the contract just expired.
Yeah, it expired.
That's the one thing about AEW. They
expired and not renewed.
Right, yeah. So it's like the one thing about AEW, with the exception of Punk or in Ace Steel in the past, they hardly ever fire anybody. They'll let your contracts expire, and they, you know, which honestly, like, that's kind of what you want. Like, you don't want to be like stuck in a situation where you can't get out of your contract, or like they're not going to try to, you know, like hold you over just because they don't want you to go to the other side.
Right.
That's what I do like about AEW. But I don't think I don't think she was fired. I think it was mostly because the contract ran out and they didn't renew it. And you know, happy trails to her.
They just don't have anything for him or her right now. So
yeah,
I mean, they were using her as a jobber or whatever, and then yeah, I mean, like that was it, and it was cool to see. I mean, I was kind of a fan of the work and all that, you know. I mean, something different, but yeah, I mean, they didn't give her the right push, and yeah, I mean,
originally, Jericho wanted to put her over.
Yeah.
In the beginning, so like he was all up for it, but then apparently it wasn't in the cards, or people wanted to do something else with it.
You know,
he had a lot of support.
I do want to touch on, before we move to the next match, talking about Statlander versus Soho. You mentioned about the contracts expiring and them not re-signing, and that's kind of what they want. Well, there was a certain superstar's contract just expired, and they didn't re-sign, and they are on the way to the other company, or at least from what I've read, they've been in the Performance Center, and they have signed a developmental deal. Do you know who I'm talking about? Mm-hmm.
I do not.
Mr. Brian Pillman Jr.
Oh yeah, that's correct. You're right.
Yeah.
Which I think they'll be able to do a good job with him if they. Before he left AEW, he did revitalize himself a little bit.
Yeah, if that character
he was getting better towards the end.
If that character shows up in NXT and then gets pushed to the main roster, if WWE doesn't mess it up like they're famous of doing, then I think he could be a real badass, for lack of a better term. He could be really good, like his dad was, right?
like the lineage is there. Like he has the, I guess you could say he has the name value.
Yeah.
Now it's up to WWE if they want to use it again because remember WWE will change your name even though you come from a background of like successful wrestlers. Like if I give an example, Braun Breaker.
Mm-hmm.
Who's he the son of?
That's
Rick Steiner.
Yeah, Rick Steiner.
Like it should have been Braun, Steiner, or maybe give him another first name. I don't know if they're saving it for like when he goes to the main roster, or I don't know if they're even gonna give him the name at all. But I feel like if you have a name value like that, you should use it.
Yeah, well, yeah, I feel the same way. We could probably go on. I don't mean to like be like, hey, let's move on, but like, yeah, like Steiner, like or Breaker, right? Breaker with Steiner. You could do the same thing. You could say the same thing about like Dom Mysterio with the non-mask versus having the luchador mask and kind of being like Rey Mysterio the third, maybe, or just Dom Mysterio with Rey Mysterio mask type thing, like. I guess he hadn't earned it yet, right?
Yeah. Well, okay? I'm gonna have to go too far off, and we will talk about the next match.
Yeah, because we got like
Rey Mysterio
6 matches to go.
Yeah. So
this is a long card.
The Rey Mysterio name. Yeah, the Rey Mysterio name didn't come from his dad; it came from his uncle.
Right.
And as of recently, they had the Triple Mania show, which is their biggest event of the year. Rey Mysterio showed up over there. But it wasn't our Rey Mysterio.
It was the uncle.
It was another Rey Mysterio.
Oh, okay.
It's Rey Mysterio. It's the actual Rey Mysterio Jr. Like, it's the son of the uncle.
Nice.
So, there's another Rey Mysterio now. Yeah, so when I saw that, I was like, ooh. So now that bloodline's starting to become more prevalent. But they're using the name because originally the uncle let Ray we know borrow the name.
Right.
And he took off with it.
Yeah.
But now technically he's the proprietarily like the owner of the moniker. He says you're gonna be Rey Mysterio, but for AAA. Over there the copyright rules are way different.
Okay.
That's why there used to be two La Parkas.
Yeah.
So Mexico don't give a fuck. We have our own Rey Mysterio over here.
Yeah. No, I mean, and that makes sense too because like Mysterio. So the one we got in WWE, Mysterio Jr., I guess, but the actual Mysterio Jr. is coming back. So I mean. There's a mystery behind the name.
The actual Junior is in Mexico right now.
Yeah, there's actually a mystery behind the name too, which actually kind of contributes to the lore a little bit as well. So.
Yeah, Mysterio literally means mystery.
Right. But
right in our face, man. We should be see it.
But yeah, but moving on back to All Out. Let's get back to All Out. It was a good. It was a good tangent to go down. Don't get me wrong, because we needed to get some of these things that are happening out of the way, and we got to do it in some way without like just making them their own show, I guess. But yeah, like
but
All Out.
I'm glad we do that because it shows.
Yeah,
I'm glad we do that because it has our poll. We have our polls what's going on in wrestling, so that it does show. So I'm glad we do that every once in a while. All right, next match, TBS Championship between Chris Statlander and Ruby versus Ruby Soho with the AEW Women's World Champion Saraya at ringside. If I'm not mistaken, this is the first time that both the TBS title and the women's title were in the same part of close vicinity of each other, I should say. I don't think I've seen it in any other instance where they've been together. I think this is the closest they've both ever been.
I'm trying to think, because, Jade had the TBS title. The TBS titles only had 2 champions, and that's Jade Cargill, or Jade, and then Chris Statlander, who dethroned her after her Goldberg-esque run of 60-0? I guess?
Something like that. It was a high number.
But I want to say Jade. I want to say there was one time when Jade was up, like maybe in the area around maybe. I want to say it was either Britt Baker or Jamie Hayter or Tony Storm before the Outcast came around. I want to say that the titles have been close to each other before one other time. But this is like definitely both at ringside type stuff. So
I think this is the closest they've been, honestly.
I want to, like I said, I want to
This
say
is the
I've seen it
closest.
one other time, but it wasn't a ringside thing. It was like a backstage promo or something, but I don't remember.
Okay. Okay, that's fair. All right, so we have Ruby, Chris tracked Ruby with a running knee strike. You had Chris throwing Ruby into the guardrail. She shows to be more aggressive because in storyline, Ruby has been the better of the two. Chris Stellar was not able to beat her in the past, and she's trying to get that win. But Ruby she would throw Statlander her head into the guardrails, and then also Sarai would get involved, attacking her from shots from behind the rest back, and it would there were good back and forth matches. Chris hit her with a backbreaker, and then followed up with the Blue Thunderbomb, which I thought was a pretty neat sequence. There was a cool moment that she did standing on. She had Ruby Soho in a position like she would do a fallaway slam, but from the turnbuckle.
Mm-hmm.
And from that position, she just rotated herself into like a power slam, but from the second rope. And something that's so simple looks very impactful because like I was like, man, that's actually a cool little sequence. She made that look easy. And then you see Ruby started hitting her with with the Poison Rana, then a DDT, and with a low Hurricanrana, which I thought was a cool move, with a close 2 count. And then Ruby then hit her with a no future kick, and still kicked out. Hit the Destination Unknown, still kicked out. And we're thinking, okay, what's it going to take to take down Chris and keep her down? Well, Ruby Soho grabs the spray can and is about to use it. And then out of nowhere, Tony Storm crawls out of the ring, grabs the spray can, and from that distraction, Statlander hit Ruby with the Sunday Night Fever and pinned her. Ended up getting the win. So Tony Storm is going through like I guess like a mental breakdown type of character right now. What would you think?
I mean, she was the champion, and then she lost it. Well, she was the champion, and she lost to Saraya, right? Was that the case? That was the case, right? At All In.
Hikaru was the champion.
Oh, that's right. She lost.
Hikaru was the champion.
Storm lost to Hikaru, and then Hikaru brought in the championship to All In. Right. Okay. So.
Right.
And then Saraya wins from Hikaru. But yeah. So yeah. I mean, Tony Storm kind of going in through this. Okay, well, I'm out of this Outcast group type thing. Outcast Civil War. She maybe she can turn into Jey Uso and she's gonna end up on Collision while the other two are on Dynamite. No, I don't know.
That's AEW's response to the Bloodline. We'll have the women do it.
Right. No, I mean, highlights. I like I said, I can't really say much to the matches because I only got to see like small highlights and stuff, and it's been maybe 3 days since that, or 2 days since this happened. So I kind of, and it was a bad broadcast that I got to watch. I didn't really get to watch a good one this time. So yeah, like
I'll say this. I enjoyed this match more because this was like there was history, and like I said, the sequence of moves that they were doing, they were hitting on all cylinders. They did not miss a step. There's a reason why Chris Statler is the champion, and to me is pure wrestling, one of the better matches of the night. Like in my opinion, just pure wrestling.
Okay. Well, that's good. Yeah, I mean, during our Payback review podcast, I was kind of saying, the women took it then too. So, well,
Exactly.
I'll say that this wouldn't be the match of the night for me. That from what I watched anyway, that would probably have to go to the next match, in my opinion. But yeah, regardless.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, cool advancement of the storyline, I suppose. Notes about Chris Statlander. I liked the goofy alien gimmick. I'm not so fond of the I'm serious Chris Statlander. I'm no longer from a different planet. I'm from Earth, and I'm gonna kick your tail type stuff. Don't really care for that. Like I said, I enjoyed the goofy alien stuff, but I mean, I guess you got to evolve with the product, and if they thought she was getting stale as a goofy alien, then this is the next step.
Yeah.
And they gave her the title for it, so good on her.
Yeah,
right?
like yeah, I just want to make something clear. I didn't say match of the night. I just said to me it was one of the better matches of just that I enjoyed.
Fair enough.
Oh. So next match is
The match of the night.
we have match of the night. Yeah, absolutely Ricky Starks versus the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. Originally, Saturday on Collision, Ricky Starks attempted to challenge the Ricky the Dragon Steamboat into a match for a strap match. Yeah. And apparently they already had it in paper. And basically, Ricky Starks, I should say, and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat says on the contract it says Dragon.
Yeah, like we kind of touched on,
Dragon.
like we touched on earlier, right? We were kind of touching on it a bit earlier. Right. It says Dragon on the contract.
Yeah, so he said Dragon. I'm thinking, okay, what dragon did he get? I'm thinking Ultimo Dragon. Or maybe Dragon Lee, or Dragon from Triple A Mexico. I probably made up the last one. I don't know. I probably guess that one right. But it turns out it was the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson.
Bum bum ba da da dum. Kill the wagon.
Oh, he didn't even come out. Yeah, he didn't even come out to that thing. He came out to
Final Countdown.
Final Countdown once again.
Right.
Yeah, they did it again.
Well, they got the license for it, so yeah, that's what he's going to come out to for a while now.
Well, they got enough money because of the CM Punk departure. I think they saved a lot of money on that. And we don't have him no more. We can spend this much money.
Sure.
Because from what I heard, that song is expensive as fudge.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. It's funny because I saw that song recently on somebody's list of most annoying rock songs of all time, and I'm like, are you seriously? But I was like, tell that to like the 85,000 fans that were singing it in Wembley, or whatever the case was. Like last week.
I don't think he was there.
Oh, that's right, he wasn't. But
he wasn't.
I'll tell you.
I think they might have played it just to play it out there. I think they sing along with it.
I bet if he was there, they'd still play it, and everybody would still love it.
Yeah, no doubt. Like I'm not knocking on that. Like,
you're right.
They would have.
He came back
the crap out of that song.
He came back because of Collision, because of signing the paper and stuff. He was the surprise dragon, but still like. Yeah, tell that to 85,000. I'd say tell it to 85,000 fans. Tell it to the I don't know how many people were at the 14,000 fans that were here in Chicago. Like
that's a big difference. That's a big difference in numbers. But yeah, tell that to them. Yes.
Still, I mean, like
that's not a lot of people.
Okay, so not only the 14,000 in Chicago. Go ahead and make when he debuted it at Forbidden Door. However many people were there. And then all the ones in between, which I guess he hadn't been back in between, but still, people like that song. Yeah. That list was wrong.
Yeah, screw that guy.
Yeah.
So the things to note of this: Bryan Danielson is still injured. He his arm is still broken, so people were kind of like worried about his condition as far
Yeah.
as what's going to happen. They were also worried about, of course, his history of concussions, but they did not hold back. They were smacking the crap out of each other. But before even any of the match started, Starks actually whipped Danielson with the weight belt, and he started to target his head with it, with the buckle of the belt, busted him open right before the match started. So already, like, there's already like blood and peril already happening to Brian because he can't do anything about it at the moment. Stars would stomp him on his head. You know how how the BCC would do it, like just repeatedly stomping on them. Also, he would put his head on the ring steps, strap around the throat, starts choking him with it, and Ricky starts dominating. And then Danielson would headbutt. He would headbutt Starks. Basically, he hit him with the head strap. He would hit the strap on the head, and then there was a point in the match where they both had the end of their straps, and they just started whipping the crap out of each other repeatedly over and over again until eventually Stark speared Danielson for a near fall, and he would basically ground and pound him, basically trying to beat him up. And you would think he was going to be over, then out of nowhere, Danielson would do with a running knee, like knocking him back down. And Danielson would then stop him on his head, and he put the label lock on him, but instead of doing it like the traditional way that he would, he used the straps, and he started choking him. Starks basically just lost conscience, and they called the match, and Bryan Danielson won. So people are saying that he returned from injury. I think he's still not going to return fully yet because he still has to heal. I don't know if you noticed, if you did watch this match. Did you watch this match?
I got to watch more of this match than most of the rest of them.
Okay.
This one kept my interest. And I mean Danielson with his pseudo return, I guess. Yeah, I mean he did awesome, and yeah, he come back and whooped old Ricky Stark's butt.
Yeah. So you watching the match? Did you notice that Daniel did not use his right arm at all?
Yeah, I actually saw an interview where he kind of touched on Ricky kind of carried him through this match, and that's because he was, he's still somewhat injured and stuff, but he wanted to do the match, so
yeah. So they did it the best way possible without him getting any more injured than what he was. So they did something good.
Yeah, definitely.
So
I mean,
and then we lost.
What happened?
Oh, sorry, you were saying something?
Yeah, I mean they did the best they could. His arm's still somewhat healing. I didn't terribly notice that he wasn't using it, but I did kind of notice that he wasn't using it too great. So I mean, then you had all Big Cat or Big Bill with the interruption, and then Ricky. And then the Dragon Steamboat was on commentary for the match. So yeah, I mean, like a good match overall, from what I saw of it, anyway.
All right, so now we have Eddie Kingston and Ring of Honor Pure Champion Katsuyori Shibata. I'm sorry, Eddie Kingston, the NJPW Strong Openweight Champion, and the Ring of Honor Pure Champion, taking on against Black Bull Combat Club of Ring of Honor World Champion Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta. Basically, they were going back and forth, a lot of hard hits, a lot of crazy moments where, let's see here, Eddie used a butterfly suplex on Wheeler in the ring. Claudio tagged and stomped Kingston's chest. Yuta tagged in Eddie and took him down with an SKO leg sweep. Shibata grabbed the tag and rocked Claudio with the rapid fire elbows in the corner. Shibata ran across the ring, dropkicked Claudio in the corner. Claudio escaping the armbar with a powerbomb. Claudio and Wheeler get a fastball special with Shibata with a near fall. A lot of hard hits, which ends up being where Kingston rocks Claudio with a Northern Lights bomb, but Yuta jumped in to break up the pin. And Claudio wrecked Kingston with a European uppercut and pinned and stunned Kingston, which made Blackpool Combat Club the winners. And it was a good match overall. Very good physical match. Love the style that Eddie Kingston brings with the intensity. And seeing Shibata wrestle again, because I love his style as well.
Yeah, I actually predicted this wrong. I did a prediction sheet over before the event, and yeah, this one I definitely got wrong. With what was announced. With what was announced, anyway. So like talking about the Danielson Starks match, that wasn't really announced until the day before, so that wasn't on the prediction sheet. But yeah, this match was on the prediction was on the cards for the prediction sheet, and yeah, I got it wrong. So I mean, shout outs to Blackpool Combat Club for winning 2 pay-per-view matches in a row.
Yeah, they're doing good. They're just staying strong. All right, next match is the Cleaner Kenny Omega versus Konosuke Takeshita. This one, people were waiting for this match to happen, and there was some scary moments. Takeshita dropping Kenny on his head, which I think is a running theme. I think running theme as of late. I think Omega has the tendency to tuck in at the wrong moment for some reason.
Well, I think during I think it was Forbidden Door with him and Ospreay, they did a spot. They did a spot similar, but they did like what's like a banned move, or at least like mostly.
I think it was the Burning Hammer.
Well, no, it's I think
no, it wasn't that.
Tiger Driver 97, not 98. Not to be confused with 98.
97.
97's the one that's banned because it basically calls for you to land on your head. Yeah. And they did that move, and I want to say this kind of calls to that, maybe. But I don't think this one was intentional, whereas the one with Ospreay was intentional. This one I think was just a botched type suplex, which I guess Chris Jericho has made his opinion on the word botched very clear, talking about we're superstars, we're people, or we're wrestlers, we're people, and we're human. They're human, but they still mess up sometimes, and that's what this was just a messed up suplex where he dropped him on his head, right?
Yeah, I agree with that. Luckily the match wasn't stopped or nothing, because it showed signs of it didn't cause any injury, so he's been good on that. That's the one thing that I do kind of worry about sometimes. This is the second time in a row this year that he had a move like that performed on him. Maybe the last one was intentional, but this one was
not.
It was an accident. Yeah, not as intentional, but it happened anyway. But I'm glad he's okay.
Yeah,
Kenny powerbomb to catch the. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I want to say I called this match wrong as well. I don't want to spoil the ending before you get to it, but I will say I think I called Omega the winner, and I called it wrong. But I will say there was also something as far as the Young Bucks went, or BTE went, where Omega has mentioned that he's lost 6 pay-per-views in a row.
And you're not talking about pay-per-views once a month. You're talking about pay-per-views that are spread out.
Yeah.
Within months. So it's that to me is it wasn't just him, of course. He also had his the Young Bucks too, whenever they would lose a match. Mostly group effort kind of stuff, but to me, I don't know what they're planning with him with that. I think they're still doing the thing with Don Callis because like they're trying to show that he's nothing without them, or for whatever reason.
Hey,
I don't know what they have planned.
I pulled out my
What's that?
I pulled up my predictions. I was wrong. I predicted Takeshita. This is Takeshita wins versus Omega. Don Callis interference, which that might not have happened, but hey, I got the I got the prediction right.
Well, he tried. Well, he tried to. He tried to stab Omega with a screwdriver, and he impaled the ring.
Oh, so it was okay.
So,
So it was a Callis interference.
but
Okay.
he didn't land it. He tried to. But then all of a sudden you see like the whole point of the match that they try to do is that Omega tried to land the One Winged Angel on Takeshita, but he kept finding a way to fight out of it every single time. Um, he hit Omega with an Avalanche Blue Thunder Bomb, which I thought was a pretty cool move. I'd never seen that before. Um, then Takeshita started throwing his Power Drive knee to him. Then Takeshita tries to get Omega to literally spike Omega with a screwdriver, but missed his. Omega nailed Takeshita with a V trigger. Omega lifted Takeshita for one Winged Angel again. Takeshita had the screwdriver, but the ref saw it, pulled it away. Takeshita removed his knee pad and hit Omega with it, with a knee strike, which basically took out Omega. So even though they tried to do cheap tactics, in a sense, Takeshita still went clean because he wasn't able to land in him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and it was a good match altogether. Good win for Takeshita. He's gonna look good on his resume, and I'm very excited to see what they have in plan for him, like in the future.
Yeah, I mean, it's good that all they're kind of pushing him, and I like to see Japanese stars being pushed. Yeah, I just like to see I like to see him succeed. So I'm gonna put my
All right.
I'm gonna put my predictions on the screen real quick. Since I found the file for it real quick. I know you
Yeah.
can't see them on the actual podcast or whatnot, but basically, sorry, Cliff, I covered up your picture, but you're not here, so I'm so sorry. But yeah, so
It's the placeholder.
I'm gonna take him down. I'm gonna take him down here in a second. I just wanted to kind of show, hey, look, there was some things I called right on here. Prior to yeah, this was from oops, I got rid of it. This was from like days before the pay-per-view, but regardless, yeah, so I had him on screen for a minute. There you go, Cliff, you're back. But
Alright, so
yeah, Takeshita, yeah, I'm all for the push with Takeshita. I do want to see Kenny Omega do well again, though.
yeah, I think like he needs it already. Like don't get me wrong, not like he's been on a losing streak. Like every match, he's won his TV matches and all that. But he needs to at least win one pay-per-view match soon. All right, so going into the next match, 8-man tag, the AEW World Tag Team Champions FTR and the Young Bucks versus Bullet Club Gold and I guess you could call the Young Guns. What were they called again? Gun Club. The Gun Club.
Gun Club, the Ass Boys.
Yeah. So the Ass Boys. Yeah. Yeah, the Ass Boys. So you had a very good team synergy with FTR and the Young Bucks. There were moments where things could have gone awry, but they were managed to get themselves calm back down again, and nothing bad happened. Basically, there were a lot of cool sequences happening. Let's see here. There's a lot of double teaming, of course, like jumping like either Dax or Matt. Dax dodged the cannonball from Juice Robinson. Matt Jackson smoked Juice with a super kick. Bucks used a classic combo on Jamie White. And the fans started chanting Young Bucks, but then you can hear a little bit of booing in there as well. Matt and Cash dished out super kicks, which looked funny. And I believe the Nick and Dax hit the Shatter Machine as well. So they were very well versed in their moves. But then out of nowhere, Colton made the save, breaking up the pin attempt. Jay White hit the Blade Runner on Cash, and Austin was there to pin him. So the Young Bucks and FTR ended up losing this match. Bullet Club Gold looked very good, and I can't they're looking better each time that they're on screen. Like they lose matches, but they lose very close ones. But when they win big.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch this, but well, not too much. I saw little parts and stuff. Bullet Club Gold. I like the group. I like the fact that the Gun Club is actually kind of taking shape into a group similar, kind of like their dad did, I guess, with DX, right? So like early career and a most reputable group. So good stuff with them. Interesting that Dax and Cash tagged with the Young Bucks, especially with their history with CM Punk and whatnot. And I want to say this could have probably been storyline to kind of set up some elite versus CM FTR stuff before craziness happened over the week, and old boy got fired.
It was teased before, but they kept shutting it down because apparently they're still under investigation with that incident, like court order stuff apparently. So they weren't really gonna do nothing with each other.
Well, now it doesn't matter. But
yeah, now. As much as I don't want to say it, I don't think we're ever going to see that now because, Punk being gone. But that, I'm no lie, that would have been a big pay-per-view buy for me. I would love to see that.
Well, now you might see Punk versus American Nightmare in the other company. Who knows? he mentioned how he's never going back, but I mean, it's all over. Like, I don't know if it's hard to say this is a work, right? It's so hard to say it's a work. Like, it's a big stretch to say that it's a work.
He has enemies in WWE.
Well, sure, yeah.
I don't think they're gonna want. Look, I'm gonna tell you. You know what? Let's just go ahead. I'm sorry. Freshly squeezed. I'm sorry, John Moxley. We're gonna have to skip you for tonight. Or I'll just say this: Moxley won.
Yeah. Moxley won.
Moxley won. It was okay.
That was on my predictions. Let's just
okay. That's not.
Let's touch on it. Let's just touch on it. Moxley won without bleeding. And I mean, I don't know.
Bleeding.
Yeah, Orange was bleeding, but
Orange Cassidy notably more beat up because of the numerous title defenses that he has. I think he has the records of the most title defenses in AEW history, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was like, I can't tell you a number and be even close to accurate. Somewhere around like 70 or 80 or so, maybe. I don't know.
Because he wrestled every single week and multiple times during the week as well, so he constantly kept himself busy. So he very good effort. He would do the spot where he usually does, where it's like the fake hits, and then but he did a variation to where he starts doing the fake hits, and then the heads become more and more stiffer, more violent, and he he basically was signaling to the fact that he's literally at his limit because he would never do that before. He would never do that to any other match. But Moxley would capitalize on him. He would, he hit the Death Rider on him a few times. So eventually, last defiant move that he had, Orange Cassidy just flips off John Moxley. Death Rider onto Orange Cassidy. 1, 2, 3. We have a new international champion in John Moxley, which is not fair because Moxley needs a break as well. He was supposed to have a vacation since last All Out pay-per-view in 2022.
Yeah.
But then guess what happened then? CM Punk got in the debacle with the Elite.
Yeah, and then Moxley became the interim champion or something like that, right?
Yeah. So yes, and someone did a meme of Tony Khan telling John Moxley, "All right, sorry, John, I need you to be the new real champion." And Moxley's like, "What?
What? What the hell even is that? What is that?"
Yeah. I wish Clifton was here to talk about that. All right, but yeah, so that was All Out. All in all, pay per view was very good. All the matches delivered. I don't think there was a single boring match on the pay per view. I think everything was fun. Amazing spots, so bloodshed, tables, you name it, everything was there.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, I say table, but I don't think a table was there. I just said something random.
yeah, like I said, I mean, I didn't get to watch the best broadcast of it, but from what I did, it seemed interesting and whatnot. So, I mean, maybe I'll find a better clips over the future of the best spots and whatnot, and get to enjoy them a little better. But I'm still glad that I was able to give somewhat of an opinion on some of the happenings and the stories around some of these matches from the knowledge I have gained over the weekend. But yeah, I watched.
Yeah, like we mentioned earlier, we had a very crazy week in wrestling, and then our own personal lives got in the way as well.
Yeah.
So it kind of we're doing our best to keep up with everything. But this is the first time we're gonna have two podcasts happen in the same week.
Yeah,
Literally a day apart from one another.
Yeah, I mean,
It's insane.
not to say it won't happen in the future, especially if they do like double events, like WWE does one, AEW does one, just kind of like this happened. Maybe we'll do a little bit of a better job. I mean, we're newer to podcasting, or at least I am. I don't know. Oscar had a fighting game podcast he was mentioning, but I'm newer.
Burning the salt.
Yeah, this is my first one, so like. I mean, if we go off topic a little bit and talk about other happenings instead of just what's on topic, maybe we'll get a little better at that as the program progresses and whatnot. And and yeah, and it'll probably help that we have our third to kind of keep us in line as well. Once we get Cliff back, which hopefully will be next week whenever we do a podcast next week, because I'm sure we'll probably do it next week, or if we don't end up doing it next week, it'll be after some previous premium live event or some sort of story progression that's notable to talk about, right?
Yeah, I think what we'll do is just a brief recap of at that week's either be Raw or Raw and AEW. Just a brief little not too in-depth that we're doing with the pay-per-views, but something to just say story's going, this is what happened. And then we can talk about another topic that we want to talk about.
Yeah, because
we said, I still want to get Clifton's opinion on the whole CM Punk debacle.
Yeah. We'll still have we got if we say meet up next Monday, we'll have Dynamite to talk about. We'll have Collision or Rampage, Dynamite, Rampage, Collision, SmackDown, and this Raw that happened last night, I guess. So
yeah.
So I mean, that's still 5 wrestling shows to talk about, you know. So we'll have things to
Yeah,
talk about.
we could take like the best thing of each show, and we could talk about that. Make it a little easier.
Yeah, something.
Um, yeah. So we're gonna talk about just I know this podcast lasted longer than I expected. We're gonna talk about what happened this past Saturday on Collision, but before we do that, let me ask Charlie Boy, how much time did we spend online already?
We are at the 145 mark. You wanted to talk about Collision from Saturday, the before this event, or
Well, like it's part of it because of what happened. Like that's the day that it happened. Um, um, you know what? I'll let you take the floor first. Um, you knew the news of CM Punk being fired. I knew it as you posted it in our chat.
yeah.
Um, what what do you want to say about it? Like, how do you feel about what's going on?
Yeah,
Like, or what's your feelings?
that's what we're gonna talk about, right? Is CM Punk now?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
so and we still
yes.
want to get Cliff's thoughts in it, and I'm sure we will in the next couple episodes and stuff because this is an ongoing thing. Like we mentioned in the last episode, that he just news still just came out. Like what was it? Not yesterday, the day before, about him and Regal having a little scuffle of some sort, and then there's the Jungle Boy stuff, which I think I might have mentioned, but Jungle Boy is also suspended. He's not only suspended, even though Punk got fired, Jungle Boy is suspended indefinitely, which basically
Yes, you
means
did mention that yesterday. Yeah.
he's fired. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he's gonna get paid until the end of his contract, and then his contract expires. I don't know what
Mm-hmm.
else that means besides fired. Like the difference between what happened to Jungle Boy because of this whole situation and what happened to Punk is Punk's contract got terminated, so he's not getting paid
Mm-hmm.
anymore. His was
At all.
like his was like, hey, you were the aggressor in this. Boom, you're done. You're not getting paid no more. Bye. Jungle
Now,
Boy.
my question is, sorry, I mean cut you off, but like, does he still get royalties from like any merchandise or
Well,
like
I would
stuff he
imagine.
prepares? Mm-hmm.
I'd imagine he'd still get the royalties from the merchandise because it's his name. But at the same time, I mean, they paid him for his likeness. So
Right. Okay.
I would imagine into I don't know how the lawyers work and see. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of news coming out still about this stuff, right? That like CM Punk is gonna speak on this. So we got to hear what
Mm-hmm.
he's gonna say, like whether it be social media or like whatever, maybe an interview with I don't know us. No, yeah, right.
That'd be crazy.
But no, an interview with somebody.
Too many.
He's gonna talk on this, you know. So I mean, there's I mean, people say it's a work. I don't know how it's gonna work out with like lawyers or whatever. If they had to pay him what he would have got through the end of his contract in order to terminate it, or what how that works out. And I imagine he gets the royalties from his merchandise. But like somebody pointed out, his merchandise is still in the AEW store. So I mean,
I think he's trying to get rid of it. Honestly,
a lot of people saying this could be like a work as well. You know, I mean, I don't think so, but I mean,
I doubt it. I doubt it. This is.
it's been an
I'll
entire
let you
year.
finish. I'll shut up.
It's been an entire year since the last one, and we thought he was going to be done with AEW after getting into that fist fight with the EVPs or whatever the case may be. But yet here he is again, a year later. He said, "Oh, I'll come back if I get to work with FTR and Joe," and that's who he worked with, and then he's gone again because Jungle Boy agitated him basically, and it's his second offense. And not on top of that, he's been injured like twice. I don't know. He's either working the wrestling crowd, and he probably made a couple $1 million doing it, or more, or I mean, or it's all legit. So,
I'm gonna be like, as much as I want to believe that, because that's the crazy thing about wrestling. We don't know if we're being worked. Like we don't know if we're being worked, and even to this point to where like they make you believe what's going on. And I always felt with AEW, they're very good at actually blurring that line between what's real and what's kayfabe. You know what I mean? So they're very good on blending those things together. If it's a work, then they got me real good, right? But
they got everybody
I'm
good
gonna
if it's a work.
yeah, I'm saying me personally because at this point, I'm just gonna go ahead and say my piece about this whole debacle stuff. During when Punk got into the fight with the Elite, I said nothing online. I didn't post anything about it. There was a lot of information we didn't know. A lot of things were not discussed, so I had no horse in that race. But the one thing that I did feel about him back then was that he got pushed into doing those things. He got pushed by people that were disrespecting him, that were trying to bring up stuff that happened in the past, even though he's trying to move on from it. Like the whole Colt Cabana the situation, and basically everything gushed out from him from that press conference last year.
Well,
It went from when he got into there first to the AEW. A lot of people didn't want him there already,
mm-hmm.
and he wanted to have an environment where it would be drama free. But to me, I always felt that people love to poke at this guy because they know they're going to get a reaction out of him. And you could only go so far in your career or in your profession. Then eventually you're going to snap and actually say something back.
Yeah.
I'm not saying what he did. I'm not saying what he did was right in the first steps, as far as how the fight went down. But him voicing his opinion is a result of people basically bullying him, honestly.
Well,
And I feel that.
I can see that, but I gotta say that there could be two sides to every story, right? So I mean, without being there or being like a close eye and just like being involved in some degree, right? It's hard for us as like fans or viewers or even us as podcasters or whatever you want to call it. Like, it's hard for us to like make a judgment, right? Without like some sort of visual evidence or proof or even audio evidence of the incidents going on. Because like it's a lot of he say she say, right? Like we're hearing from this source that this happened and this source that this happened, and people are saying, well, Triple H was right about CM Punk, and then other people are saying, well, including Oscar here, saying, oh well, CM Punk got bullied, which I can see where there is like a gang of them that all are friends and stuff, and that mentality is there. I can see that, right? But at the same time, I mean, the way they say it, it sounds like, well, if old Punk wouldn't have did this, that, and the other, I'm playing devil's advocate here, I guess. If Punk wouldn't have did this, that, and the other, if Punk wouldn't have made a big deal about a glass spot, and old Jack Perry rubbing it in his face, like he shouldn't. In my opinion, maybe he shouldn't have made a big deal about it, right? He's like he's a 40-year-old veteran, right? Or 40-plus-year-old veteran. Like, why does some little snot-nosed kid that made a big deal out of some bullcrap glass that he probably shouldn't have used? Punk was right? But I mean, if he wants to be hard-headed and learn on his own, let him, But
Yeah, but that's the thing though. Like whenever I was saying those things beforehand, that's how I felt when the All In incident happened.
Yeah.
I mean, All Out incident from last year. The All In one, everything was recorded.
Yeah, I want to see. We gotta wait for
And then
those
it's fake.
tapes to come out so we can see what actually
Yeah,
happened, right?
yeah. So, and because of that happening, they got footage of him doing what he did. And, like, I'm not sad. I'm just disappointed in him. You know, he could have just let that go. He could have just let that go and just let it pass. He still would have been on the card. He still would have had a job. But he, lack of a better term, he fucked up. And and to me, it's heartbreaking because this is a wrestler that I followed when he got debuted in ECW, and I got invested in him because he made not drinking cool. And if you don't know, I don't drink. And I don't. You didn't see that kind of gimmick in wrestling at the time that people would preach about that. And and as a result, I followed his career throughout the whole WWE. And then shit went south. And then when he got his ball and walked off, which I understood, it was a whole different situation then. Um, you, for me at least, I can say I was worried about his. I was worried about him. And then when he jumped into UFC, I still followed him, even though he got his butt kicked and he got beat up. I still, I would send him tweets saying, "Hey man, like, hope you're okay." Hope you do. He never responded to me, but I could at least say that I could genuinely say that I did care about not just the character but him.
Yeah.
And then he went on hiatus. He was doing movies and comics and doing all this stuff. And when the Rumblers came back for him to come back, I, I got caught up in it, but I never really believed that he would come back until when he came back to AEW. I cried. I was happy. He got to come back because in reality he loves professional wrestling. You can see that in him. You can see the way that he works. You know it's there. And there was going to be this big thing to happen, and then this Summer of Punk was about to happen because he won the title then, and then he gets hurt the first time, and you're like, okay, he's going to get better, he's going to pick up again, and then all of a sudden he gets the title again, and then all that shit went to crap whenever the Elite stuff happened. That happens. You try to find the benefit of the doubt for him. Is like he had every right to say what he said, because for all we know, the Elite can be assholes. Right? I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. They can be Christian boys, wherever they say they are, Christian as fuck, but they could still be assholes because they have to be assholes if they're EVPs. We don't know how they are. We don't know how they work. But to me, something like that doesn't come being unprovoked. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, you try to find the benefits of him, like maybe okay, look, heal up, come back stronger, and they give him a new show just so he wouldn't be in the same spot as them, just so there won't be any more altercations. Like, fine, compromise, and then even then, he still find a way to mess it up. And I'm just tired of him, honestly. Like, it breaks my heart to say it, but like I just don't want to talk about him anymore. Like, I even sent him a tweet before he got fired, like, still love you, dude, but you need help. And knowing how he is, he's not really gonna do anything like that because to him, he's not the one at fault. At the end of the day, you want the best for everybody. You want the best for the wrestlers and for the fans. Him being fired at this moment was literally the best thing to happen to him because I'm not saying he would have hurt anybody, but some other people could have gotten hurt too. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, it just seems like, I mean, I don't want to interject or anything, but I just want to say real quick, like, it just seems like I don't know. I mean, out of control. Maybe is that right? Is it as far as like the
Yeah, like
situation goes? As far as the situation goes, anyway.
yeah. I'm not like I'm not sugarcoating it. He needs help with his the way that he acts around other people. Granted, he said it before. Like if you don't give him any trouble, he's the coolest guy in there. And there's people that can vouch for him on that. So that's where the whole conflicting thing happens. So you're like, why is he doing this? Why does this happen? Why, as another wrestler, would you want to poke the bear and get a reaction out of him? Why would you want to do that? Because now we have two wrestlers that are technically gone. One terminated, one on hiatus for until his contract goes up. We might not see Jack Perry again. Um, because nobody knows his status. And I don't know. Like to me, what happens with Punk, I just wish this wasn't a thing. Unfortunately, it is. The only thing I got is the whole last thing I just want to say is this: Punk. I hope you find the help that you need. I hope you find some happiness in whatever you do. Um, and if this is your last time wrestling, I feel that it's gonna be his last time wrestling. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Like he's been wrestling like crap since he came back. Um, I guess this would be a good time for him to like venture into something different that can actually benefit him and his family. So, Punk, thank you for everything that you've done. Thank you for at least giving me hope throughout the time that you've been on TV, whether it be WWE or AEW. Um, I really don't want to talk about this anymore, but that's it, man. Like that's my feeling on it. Like I'm not sure what else to say.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can from I'll state my view, right? Like, so I heard a lot about CM Punk. I kind of stopped watching wrestling around like maybe 2001, 2002. Right
Yeah.
after Attitude Era and Invasion, the terrible Invasion angle and all that. I kind of got to see a little bit of that. I didn't really watch John Cena debut type stuff, Thugonomics. I didn't get to see a lot of that until after I got back into wrestling. I got back into wrestling around 2014 when Sting come back, or well, I say come back. And I think I said this on the first episode. Whenever Sting,
They beat in WWE. Yeah.
yeah, made it to WWE, and around that time was the same time that Punk had his big meltdown and left, right? So I didn't get to really watch a lot of CM Punk until he returned. So I was really happy whenever he came back. You know, I even it was right after that Dynamite here in Houston, and I went to the bar because I don't have TNT at the house or anything. I just have the internet, so I went to the bar to go watch it, and yeah, like it was cool because I got to see CM Punk return to wrestling after 7 years, and that was awesome. I mean, it sucks. This whole situation sucks. I wish he would have handled it a lot better, provoked or not. You know, I hate that. I hate that people provoke him. I can kind of relate to that, as I've kind of done a similar thing of taking my ball and going home when it comes to being provoked and say some Killer Instinct type situations in tournaments and whatnot, right?
Right.
Yeah, because like I haven't played in a Killer Instinct tournament for at least 2 years now, because of a situation that happened with World Cup, the online version, and me not getting allotted points that I would have qualified to play in the World Cup again. But I didn't get those points. I didn't get those points for X or Y reason. So what did I do? I decided I wasn't going to play the game anymore, or at least competitively in tournaments. So I can relate to kind of going home and keeping the pride that you have. So I mean, big shout outs. I mean, I if that be the situation that Mr. CM Punk is in right now, then by all means, good on him for getting out of that situation. Whether it be on his terms or somebody else's terms or whatever, because that's not a good situation to be in for anybody. As far as the wrestling rumors go, people are saying that he might end up in WWE, that he's open to it, that he had talks. I've seen news stories that he had talks about coming back at this year's Royal Rumble. I've seen news stories talking about that he might come back even before then. So I mean, there's still hope for him to come back. But
yeah, he was trying to get WWE to buy his contract whenever he was doing his suspension.
Yeah.
From the Elite incident.
Okay.
So
I mean, there's still hope that he ends up in WWE. However, he's been pretty vocal about the fact that he doesn't like that company. But I mean, it could be some really good entertainment and TV if he actually does end up there and his story's not over. But if his story is over, then at least it's kind of like he went out against Samoa Joe, which was one of the guys that he originated against coming up. So it's kind of what you want in wrestling, is to go out against maybe the guys that you came up with. So if it is over, I mean, at least I got to enjoy some of the on-screen stuff that he brought back in the last 2 years. But I mean, would I like to see more? Sure, but do what you got to do. But I guess we should probably go ahead and wrap this up here shortly, huh? We've gone a little bit over the 2 hour mark, and maybe we'll get Cliff notes on the situation on the next one or something. Hopefully we'll have our third co-host back on the next one. But yeah, any closing thoughts before we go ahead and wrap it up, Oscar?
Closing thoughts would be, good luck on your future endeavors, Punk. Wish you the best.
Yeah, I'll say the same, man. I mean, this whole situation sucks, and I hope you do better, and for yourself or for the fans or whatever. Take care of yourself first, and then wrestling fans will be there. And hey, hopefully you get to write a awesome story coming back again like you did once before, because it's pretty awesome to see you come back after 7 years. And I'd hate to see it end like this, but if it has to, then by all means, man, good luck.
Good note.
But alright, guys, I guess that's going to do it. Thank you guys for watching and listening to the Wrestling Baytown podcast, episode 3, all out review, plus talking about CM Punk. What do we call it? Slapping meat? Ugh. Gross.
The mystique of slapping meat.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call it something different. Don't worry.
The subtitle that doesn't exist. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for watching, guys.
Thank you again, Charlie. Appreciate you doing this. We did a lot of talking this time because of all the stuff that happened, but we should be slowing down a little bit next week when Clifton comes back and we have more time to go over some stuff. So.
Yeah, when we review 5 shows instead of just 1.
I know. I think what we should do is just grab 3 things notable of that show.
That's fair. We'll have to talk in the group chat and kind of say what we want to touch on from each show and kind of keep it to a 10-minute limit or something.
Right.
But all right, guys. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.
Later, dudes.
Later.